January 1st isn't astronomically or even astrologically important. There is nothing special about January 1st from the perspective of what the planet is doing, from what the stars are doing. Our position in the solar system and the universe is in no way unique on January 1st. For most of human history and still in cultures around the world, the new year is actually celebrated in the spring, or much closer to the beginning of the spring. If you think about it, that actually makes quite a bit more sense. The spring is when things are new. January 1st, if you live in most of Europe and much of North America, is still decidedly winter. In fact, around here, it seems to have decided to be a little more winter than it was before here at the beginning of the year. The new year is located how it is in our calendar for the same reason that our calendar experiences the oddity of a 10th month called October, and an 11th month called November, and a 12th month called December, octo, nov, and dis being 8, 9, and 10, respectively. That reason being, Roman emperors could not stop messing with the calendar. They loved to add a month, to move something around, and they arrived at a calendar that, if I was designing it, it wouldn't be this one, but it's the one I inherited, so here we are. I say some of that to say that there is nothing special about January 1st that isn't special about every day. Every day, the sun comes back up and there is the opportunity to do something new. But I say it also to point out that just because something isn't real, right, just because nothing special is happening, it doesn't mean that the weight of culture and society and time doesn't make something real. There is nothing astronomically or astrologically important about January 1st, but there is something culturally important about January 1st. We have probably all grown up in a culture where January 1st is the beginning of a new year, where we celebrate the evening of the 31st as a last hurrah. When I was a kid, my grandfather would take his rifles out of the cabinet for the one and only time of the year to shoot the new year away by shooting into the backyard where there was nothing, so it was safe. Some of my neighbors in Prince George's County do a similar thing I learned this year. It was slightly more startling than it was on my grandparents' 15 acres. We set off fireworks for a similar reason, though, right? There is something about an explosion that marks an end of something really clearly, that says, all right, we did it, and let's start again, all at once. I often kind of wish that there was a spare day there in the middle, right? Where we could say, okay, goodbye. All right, let's start. But that's not what we get. "2025 is likely to be a difficult year. It is likely to be a difficult year similar to how many previous years have been, and also in a bunch of new and confounding ways. I think about the years between 2016 and 2020 and how chaotic all of that was. I remember describing the day-to-day experience as a nonstop slog of nonsense fascism. I expect much the same. Both the nonsense and the fascism and the non-stop of it. We also have more illnesses showing up in our population. Please wash your hands. Please wash your hands. Please wash your hands with soap. Norovirus, which is at high levels in much of the country, including here, does not care about your hand sanitizer. It is not a virus with a packet. Hand sanitizer only works on viruses with packets. Wash your hands, soap and water. This is your public health announcement from your clergy person. We also have rising cases of bird flu that are starting to show up in kids. There's some potentially really scary stuff on the horizon, and that's not all of it. If I listed everything that I am afraid of in the coming year, that would be all we would do today, and let's not. But a difficult year ahead, to me, is a year worth preparing for, worth taking this little minute we sort of have between the beginning of the year and the beginning of a new administration to say, okay, what are we going to do? I don't like New Year's resolutions. If you've been around for a while, you may have heard that from me before. I don't like them because I don't think they work. How many of us have ever completely failed to fulfill a New Year's resolution? And done so within, days of the new year starting? Yeah. Not that I think you need to set goals and then never make a mistake on the way to them. That's also not how things work. But for me, what works better is to prepare myself to be able to engage in the world in the way that I would actually like to prepare myself to be who I want to be in the coming year. So I often think more about what I need to let go of than what I need to dedicate myself to. Sometimes the things work together. One of my focuses for this year is to figure out how to stay engaged and connected to community. Because when things are scary, when things are hard, when you're sad and angry and afraid, it is really easy to close up. It is really easy to step away, to say, everybody has so much going on, they don't need to hear what's going on for me. Or to say, you know what, no, I can do it on my own. I'm gonna be strong and do this by myself. That's not what strength is. That is mostly what brittleness is. Trying to be by yourself too much, refusing to be in community, refusing to share the things that are hard or scary or joyful for you. It doesn't make you resilient, doesn't make you powerful, often makes you really easy to break. I think having the DC Labor Chorus with us here today is a good example of how being together in community can really make us all stronger, make us all more encouraged for the journey. I am so glad for our relationship with the DC Labor Chorus. Yeah. And I am excited about continuing to develop that relationship and other relationships like that. I am excited about us who are here today and people who we haven't met yet, getting to be more closely connected, and more closely connected in a way where nobody is saying, I have all the answers. It is really easy, also, to think that certainty is the same thing as safety. To think that if you know what is happening or how things should be, then you are safe from the chaos of reality. This is how a lot of high control religion works. You show up on Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Wednesday, doesn't matter what day it is that you show up, and somebody tells you what the capital T truth is. Somebody tells you the right way to live. You will not find that here. I don't know that I have access to capital T truth at all, much less more than any of you do. I know most of the time what the right way for me to live is, but I don't live in your body. Can't make your choices for you. What I can do is help you think about the choices you're making, remind you, hopefully, of who you are as a person, of that being a person is actually really good and cool, that being a person with a body is really good and cool, even if your body is being a little weird to you lately, or doesn't fit into normative systems that people tell you what a body is supposed to be. You all know that I can't get through a January without being mad at diet culture. Okay, I can't get through an any time without being mad at diet culture, but I really can't get through a January without it. Because it's so impossible to exist in January in this country with any connection to popular media and not get shoved down your throat the idea that what you should be doing with your brand new year and your one wondrous and precious life is trying to be smaller. Exercise is great. Eating vegetables is great. I love vegetables. I love vegetables so much that I'm pretty sure broccoli is my favorite food. I love vegetables. So do not hear my opposition to diet culture as an opposition to vegetables or exercise. Those are great things. It's good to take care of your health where you can. Not all of us are going to get to be healthy. That's just not the world that we live in. But all of us can eat foods that make our bodies feel good and do movement in ways that makes our bodies feel good. If we have high blood pressure, we can work to lower that. If our A1C is high, we can work on managing that. But that's different from focusing on a number on a scale or the size of your pants. So one of the messages I want to start the year with is that you are good. Your body is good. It is good the way it is. You deserve care from yourself and from your community. Part of being a human is choosing to be together, and we can choose to be together in ways that encourage each other's flourishing or ways that don't. I want us to choose to elicit the best in one another. I want us to choose to enliven one another, to support one another's flourishing. And so that means things like that I know every time we have a potluck, Jenna Umbriac will bring lentils or something with a nice, complicated protein carb situation. And that is a great support for this community. And I know that 4 times a year we'll get to hear music from the DC Labor Chorus, and that will bring a type of energy into this space that nobody else can. It is also the case that sometimes to do the next thing, we have to let go of some old stuff. I know a number of you have been recently or are about to be in positions where you gotta get some stuff out of your house because you need to move, because someone else is moving in, because someone is moving out, and it's time to repurpose their room into something else. Because it's time for you to move out of your home because something is different. Because it's about to be spring and we do spring cleaning, right? When you go through those things, you often find stuff that is hard to let go of. Things that you still think of as you, things that you are emotionally attached to, but you actually have no particular use for. One of my personal difficulties as I've been unpacking over the last 9 months is getting rid of notebooks and journals from when I was in seminary. I do not need my notes from every class I took in grad school. I just don't. I'm not going to look at them. They mostly don't make any sense to me anymore. There's one particular sheet which I am keeping because it is so like me, where there's text, and then there's just a giant drawing of a donut in the middle. And the drawing of the donut is labeled abortion on one side and the universe on the other. Now, I know what I was saying, but all of my notes are like that, and many of them are much harder for me to understand. I don't actually need to be able to go back and read myself fussing over people I was dating when I was still in undergrad. It's not actually necessary. Don't actually need that history. But it's hard to get rid of, hard to let go of. So rather than resolutions for what we will do, I'd like us to think about what we can let go of. Be that physical things or emotional things or patterns that we're stuck in that might make this next year, if not easier to approach, right? That might make it easier for us to connect and be together. Maybe you need to let go of your desire to sleep in on Sunday morning. Sorry, me too. Maybe you need to let go of defensiveness. That's often one I gotta let go of. Maybe you need to let go of a habit of spending too much money. Okay, that might be me too. So I want you to take a couple of moments and either think by yourself or talk with someone nearby about what you might need to let go of to come into 2025, to be ready to have a different kind of year. I'll give you 3 minutes for that. Go. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, cool. So I know that those were short conversations, and I hope that you'll take some time to chat with the folks you were chatting with or to talk to somebody new after platform when we have our social time and coffee hour. It's really good to get some time to connect and to already have something to talk about when it's time to connect. Does anybody want to share some of the stuff that you want to get rid of? Maybe in a word or two that you yell out? Yeah, Perry. And swap the burden of responsibility for the joy of contributing. I love that. Excellent. Anybody else? Being defeatist ahead of time. We're going to let go being defeatist ahead of time. Yeah. Yeah, don't say no on somebody else's behalf. They can say it if they want to. What else? Any single word options, anything? News apps, yeah. Letting go of news apps might be helpful, yeah. Believing everything you think. Yeah. You're gonna give up smelling flowers? You want to do it more. Okay. What are you going to give up to smell flowers more? Walking fast. Yeah. Does anybody want to give up fear? It'd be nice, right? Yeah. Paralysis by fear, that's better. Yeah. Yeah, less money, less Amazon shopping. Yeah, absolutely. It's insidious that it's so easy, and then you're like, where did my money go? What did I do? Okay. So I want to invite you to do some imagination now. Whatever you've identified as something that you want to let go of. Write it down on a piece of paper in your brain, and ball your little piece of paper up. And then, through the power of imagination, throw it into this dish up here. You can. This dish, I'm going to tell you, is a magic dish. It's not. I bought it at Home Goods. It's a regular old dish that I have made magic. I have made it magic mostly by putting intention into it. We do some witchy stuff in the office. You might know that Robin and I are both witches. And so sometimes we smoke cleanse the office. So I keep my smoke cleansing bundle in that bowl all year. So my smoke cleansing bundle is not sage because I am not indigenous, and thus the sage is not mine. But I use juniper and rosemary and things that my very Eastern European ancestor would have had to smoke clean. So we do that, and we use Florida water, and we light candles, we do lots of stuff. But I put a lot of intention into that bowl. And I think sometimes intention lets us do some really interesting things. So let's see what my intention and all of your imaginary paper does in this bowl. You ready? And it's gone. Whatever you wanted to get rid of just went like that. Like the new year, that's not real. That was very literally a magic trick. Yesterday, I went to a magic store. And though what I usually buy is flash paper, what was available to me this year was flash cotton. I think I might like the flash cotton better. It's a little more dramatic of an effect. But just because it's not real doesn't mean it can't do something, right? A new year is not astronomically real. It's just something we've agreed exists. So if we agree that this bowl had some magic in it, that the combination of your imagination and my intention, let that be a symbolic clean, I tell you, clean, burning away of whatever it is you put in there. Then we can agree that you get to be free of it. And maybe the magic only works for a little while. That's okay. We have more. I know how to light stuff on fire all times of the year. But we have actually a more powerful kind of thing that I can call magic here. We have people who get to be themselves. People who get to speak to you from their honest experience of the world. People who will give you a ride when you need a ride, and who will make sure that you get food when you are sick. People who will show up for you when you need to move, who will show up for each other in all kinds of circumstances. We have people who show up every week, sometimes more than once a week, to learn and grow together, to be creative together, to be human together. That is some of the most powerful magic that I know, and unlike this and a new year, that stuff is real. difficult days ahead, but not ones that we can't get through if we hold on to each other. Not ones that we can't be brave enough to face if we hold on to one another. Nothing that's impossible so long as we stay together. So for whatever else is true about a new year, I'm looking forward to being in this one with you. I hope that I will see you on Sundays and Wednesdays when we have dinner here, and in meetings, though meetings are none of our favorite, and in sessions and workshops and all kinds of stuff. We got good stuff coming up. And I am looking forward to getting to know each of you a little better, to seeing you get to know each other a little better, and to all of us getting to be enlivened and made larger, elicited the best from in 2025. Thank you.